Hello, wonderful peer mentor team. My name is Cesar Flores. I am a lead peer mentor here at CSUN. I'm also a grad student in the Counseling Master's Program. And today I want to talk to all of you about Mentor Connect flags and just what flagging is. So, to put it simple, let's start off with flags. Now, a flag is a challenge or an issue that a mentee is facing in our program, okay? So flags are most often reported by you, the mentor, but they can also be reported by a member of the lead peer mentor team or somebody above that as well too. However, for the most part, it's going to be you guys who are flagging and letting us know what's going on with your mentees, right? There's a lot of important things that go into flagging and just what that means for us, right? Now, again, they can be tagged with one or more topics. And to give you an idea of what that is, right, it's pretty much like academic struggles or financial concerns, depression, things of that nature, right? And when you go in to log a conversation after you're done meeting with one of your mentees through the Mentor Collective website, this is going to give us a good idea of how we can best support your mentee, right? What type of resources, what type of information, what type of tools, or what type of referrals we'll have to make sure that your mentee is best supported. Most of the time, these flags are reported after a session. So again, this is after you meet with one of your mentees. And then after that, we're able to see like what exactly we need to make sure that your mentee is okay and being successful in college. So on our end, we get what's called priority flags. Now, what's a priority flag in relation to flags, right? On my Mentor Collective home screen, I get to see this, and so does anyone else who is also a partner. What does that mean, right? So after one of you guys has a conversation with one of your mentees, and let's say they're struggling with something like depression or something, well, once you flag that, we're able to see exactly what's going on with that student based off your feedback. And if you make it a priority flag, then it's going to pop up on our list at the very top, depending on the date, obviously, right? So when a flag is reported, again, you're going to be asked, like, hey, do they need immediate support? Now, if you say yes, the flag support priority is marked as immediate. If you say no, the flag support priority is marked as not needed. All that means is if they need help immediately, we're going to be there to know based off of the feedback that you're giving to us, right? On this page, it pretty much shows us the date that was reported. It also shows us the type of priority support. So if it's immediate, again, it's going to be right there. It also shows the mentee and how we can contact them through their email. And it also shows you as the mentor as the one who flagged that priority flag, right? And again, it also tells us some of the topics that you flagged. So whether it's academic struggles, depression, roommate conflict, homesickness, family conflict, whatever the case may be, right? It's going to show us what type of issues they're dealing with and what type of support we're able to give you as the mentor or them directly as the mentee to make sure that they are able to deal with that. Again, we review and take action on the first one that we see. So if it's immediate, we make sure to look at that one, and the rest of them are kind of moved to the bottom depending on what the needs might be. So again, what happens when you flag a conversation with your mentee? Okay, so when a flag is first reported, the status becomes pending. That's until one of us opens up one of these flags, right? And as soon as we open it up, we see what we can do or what the mentee's dealing with, and then we'll change that to non-actionable, actionable, or resolved based on the feedback that we're getting from you and after we provide some sort of resources, tools, etc., right? The status is also shared with you as the mentor. So again, as soon as we change it from pending to something else, you guys also get that same feedback, right? This graph right here is a really good example because again, I know it seems tedious sometimes, but when you guys flag things for the Mentor Collective program, we're able to see trends in data. We're able to see what students need at what points of the year, right? So in the beginning of the year, when students are signing up for classes, for example, right, we might see a little more financial concerns because of financial aid and because they're trying to pay for their classes, as opposed to, I don't know, November or something. We might see a little more academic concerns because everyone's struggling to cram for things like midterms, so on and so forth, right? So again, this helps us a lot as a mental collective, and it really makes it so we can support our students based off of your feedback from meeting with your mentees. And I'm going to show all of you as well too how to log this on the Mentor Collective website after. So sit still. But again, this graph example, all it does is just show, let's say, like, for example, 60% of the flags that have come in have been tagged with academic struggles. You can see that compared to everything else down here, by this example, academic struggles tend to be the highest rate of topics that are flagged. So we're able to say, okay, maybe we need to provide more resources for students. Maybe we need to provide more resources for you as mentors so you can give to your mentees. And we're able to see a lot more of what's happening as far as everyone that we're working with. So flags themselves are extremely important. And again, it's a really easy way for us to understand how we can best support our students, especially when you guys are the ones connecting with them constantly, right? So again, this is something that we really want you to look into as well too. But I want to show you exactly what it means to log a conversation. So once you enter into the Mentor Collective website, right, you're going to click log conversation, right? And if I'm logging my conversation, let's say I just met with my student for an hour, and let's say we went ahead and we did it via Zoom, right? It's cool. So I mark on this box, like this will ask you different ways that you communicated with your student, because we also want to know how you guys are communicating with your students or with your mentees. So we're able to see like what's the best way we can create more connections, right? But again, the first thing you'll mark is like, how did you communicate with that student, right? And let's say it was Zoom, boom, super easy. And you can mark different things like other, meeting in person, whatever the case may be. Gonna ask you what general topics did you talk about, right? So let's say you were talking about career issues, right? Things like jobs on campus, what types of jobs do they have? Let's say you guys also talked about academics because midterms are coming up and they're a little bit worried about their grades, right? But then let's also say that you guys talked about like them being really anxious and stressed out because of midterms, right? And let's say other because they told you they were also depressed. So you can also, again, mark other, and this little box will pop up, and you're able to tell us exactly what the issue was. So we're able to understand a little bit more about what's happening with that mentee. Now, after you do this, it's also going to ask you things like, hey, did your mentee mention any of these topics or show signs during the session today? And this is where we're going to deal with flags in particular, right? So if you click none, nothing's going to be flagged. It's no big deal. We understand that you might have had some conversations with this student. But again, this is going to allow us to see like, hey, what's going on? Let's say, again, your student talked about struggling academically, depression, and dealing with, family conflict because they want to change their major or something, and their family's not supported. Again, this just lets us know that, hey, you're flagging that your student was dealing with some of these issues, and you want to make sure that they get some sort of support, right? And again, after you flag, it's going to ask you to share a little bit more information on like why this was flagged. And then we're able to connect with you as the mentor or with the mentee and give some sort of support depending on what's needed exactly, right? So it's a really good way for us, again, to really get this data so we can know like what do we need to do to support our students better here at CSUN. Again, after that, it's going to ask you this question as well too, and this is also really important because we don't want you just to assume like every issue they're dealing with is light or treat it lightly, right? And you don't want to flag anything. Let's say you do want to flag it just so we know what's going on with the student, but you don't think they need any immediate help or support, right? Well, if that's the case, all you have to do is click no immediate support needed. And what I like to do when I'm working with my mentees as well, when I do flag something but I don't want any support, I'll include it in this little text box right here, And I'll start off with no immediate support needed. However, my student did, or my mentee, sorry, did mention that they were dealing with some, issues of homesickness. However, it's not hindering their experience throughout the semester. Boom, right? Something like that, because we still want to know what's going on with each of your mentees, just in case we think they might need some support, or we can like come to you for further advice on, hey, do we need anything? And if you feel like they do, what you're going to go ahead is mark yes right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to send the information to us, and it's going to mark everything as priority and let us know that, hey, the student needs help in a certain area. So this is huge for us. And I want to stress that because I want you guys to understand that logging in your conversations really does help us as a program become the best mentor-mentee relation, where we're able to really connect with students and really do our job, right? Again, it's going to ask you 2 ratings questions too towards the end. And the first one is going to be a question about like how successful is your student to adjusting and preparing for their school environment, right? And let's say they're extremely successful. Well, again, you can mark 6 or 7, but if you mark a lower number, something down here, it's going to ask you, hey, that's a low score. Can you share a little bit more information? And you can tell, our student or our mentee isn't really connecting too well with campus. They don't really have any drive at this moment in time, blah, 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 right? This allows us to get more information so we can really help them as well too. Lastly, it's going to ask you about your experience as a mentor. And we want to stress this as well because we want to know how you guys are doing it and how we're able to support you as well. Let's say you feel great, boom, you can mark a 7. Let's say you're not feeling too great and you want to make sure that we know that. Well, you can mark 3, and then down at this bottom, there's going to be a question that might have to do with like, hey, how has participating in the mentorship program impacted your relationship with your school? Again, this is a good way for you all to give us information and let us know how we can best support you and really create a program that supports all students, regardless if you're a mentor or a mentee. And I want to thank all of you again, because here's the thing: without you, this program doesn't work. We want to make sure that you as mentors know your role and understand that you are so vital to the success of the Mentor Collective. Flagging and making sure that we know how we can help our students is essential to us growing and truly supporting students. So again, thank all of you guys for tuning in. As well, I want you guys to have an amazing semester, an amazing day. Take care, everyone.